Well, looks like there's some secret men's business going on down there. Let's go and find out what it is. Come on. Oh, come on. God, I still can't get in. Hey guys, look, there's too much noise here. Let's go inside and have a bit of a chat, shall we? Well, I've brought the guys in and you know, I want to know what's going on here today, so I've pulled these guys inside. Tom, tell us, what's going on here today?
Look, started out with a couple of guys from Pro Utes Club. We wanted to stand our cars down to a dyno and have a bit of a run, see what they'd make, and it ended up turning into quite a big day. So
we've got a bit of a dyno thing happening here today. So we're putting the cars on the rollers, see how much, now I work in horsepower, so, you know, so we're talking horsepower and kilowatts today?
Yeah, don't ask me on horsepower, I'm not that old school, but look, we, you know, just, it's a tuning device. We into modding cars, trying to get the maximum amount of power out of them as we can. Just, you know, a bit of fun. It's quite a good hobby that, you know, a lot of guys in Adelaide are into, and, you know, there's certainly a scene here, and we're just trying to make sure that, you know, things like today just really bring everyone together. So,
well, I mean, you know, cars are tuned on the dyno, and, you know, you get to know your horsepower, which is one thing. You get to hear the cars, which sound awesome when they're on the rollers, eh? You've got your own car here today as well?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, what do you got?
I've got a F6 Tornado BF. Ford. So, yeah.
Wow, nice, yeah. And any modifications to that vehicle?
Yeah, just running a bit more boost through it and bigger injectors and, you know, the basic mods. I haven't gone quite as far as some, but it all comes down to cash at the end of the day. So.
Fantastic. No, it's good. Well, hopefully we're showing some shots of that right now. You got it here today, yes?
Yes, yeah, got it sitting over on the side there. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Sean, tell us, mate, why are you here today?
As Tom was saying earlier, just wanted to bring my car out, check on the dyno, see what's producing.
All right, what do you got?
I got a VZ Thunder.
A VZ Thunder, nice. Like the song, hey, Thunder. I can't sing for...
Probably not to that extent, but a bit too old school for me. But no, I'm part of the Pro Utes Club, and we got a pretty decent amount of guys that turn up to our cruise events and fundraisers and that.
And Dyno Days?
And Dyno Day, well, this is the first one that I've been to, and no, it's gone pretty well so far, yeah.
That's good. Have you had your car on the dyno yet?
I have.
And what'd you get?
223 rear wheel kilowatts.
Wow, that's pretty good. What's the standard for that?
They got 260 at the fly from stock, so it's pretty comfortable to have on.
Excellent. That must be fun to drive too.
Safely.
Yes, safely. Sorry,
safely,
yeah.
yes.
Yes, that was like a police announcement. Yes, nice and safely. And what do you? So you just said you like enjoy these shows and stuff where you can come and get on the dyno and test your car out and all that. So you going down the drags tonight as well?
Might plan to, yeah. I'll see where the rest of the boys are going. But
fantastic.
It's just good to be able to have a group of guys who have the same similar interests, and while keeping it a safe environment and modifying them mostly legally, but keeping them looking nice and safe mainly, and enjoying for what they are.
Well, hopefully we're looking at some shots of your car right now as well. So, how long have it's taken you to build that?
I've had it for about 14 months. Yep. Bought it from stock standard, second hand, but it's worth, you just throw money at cars. It's just...
Oh, absolutely. Who wouldn't throw money at cars? I mean, it's a great outlet as well, because, you know, if you're stressed out, or, you know, if you've got women troubles or something like, whoops, I might get in trouble for that one, but you can go out in the garage and you can work on your car and stuff like that.
Yes and no. Sometimes the cars cause more problems.
They're just expensive, yes. That's great. Excellent. So Andy, you've opened your heart, you've opened your shop here today, mate, for doing this dyno day for the boys and the girls, we should say as well. What a fantastic guy you must be, and a great haircut.
Oh, thanks for all that. I don't know what to say. Yeah, well, we've had a lot of approach from different clubs over time. Normally we do a Holden day or a Ford day, so we don't have any fisticuffs in the car park.
How are we going today?
No fisticuffs, but we've got Holdens and Fords.
Mate, obviously, you know, you got the Fords and the Holdens, but you get some Japanese stuff on there. We saw, what was it? Oh no, that was a Ford as well, a TX3 on there before.
was too, yeah.
Sort of like a Mazda though, isn't it?
Mazda-y, sort of a derivative, yeah.
Yeah, and how'd that go?
Actually, it had a special little turbo motor in it, I think, out of a Mazda.
Oh,
so, yeah, it did better than I thought it would do.
So, I mean, people have got to realise too that dynos are great for tuning cars, especially when you've built high-performance cars or even cars that you just want to know what the horsepower rating is.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, kilowatts. I'm feeling you're probably my age as well. You probably know horsepower as well. But yeah, it's a great way to tune your vehicle.
It's a good diagnosis tool for us. What we look at is the air-fuel ratios and various other technical things, whilst most of the guys that come to dyno days get scared when they hear their car screaming its head off. What we look for is to make sure the car's not running too lean and make sure it's doing all the right things and it's not going to hurt the motor. And I suppose that's a bit of feedback we can give the guys, but eternally all they're after is a number at the end of the day, whether it be a horsepower or whether it
Something
be a
to brag about at the pub or something.
Exactly right. Yeah. And but some guys, you know, want to know what's going on with the car. They don't know a lot about it, so it's a good diagnosis tool.
Hats off to you, mate. You've done a really good job here today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, look, we're here with Kurt at the moment, and mate, you just finished doing a dyno on this car. How'd it go?
Pulled pretty well. I was quite impressed with that. I'm not sure exactly what modifications he's got done to it. I haven't spoke to the owner yet, but yeah, good power.
I'll tell you what, I like his first modification there, mate. He's just left his wallet in the front there. We might grab that in a minute.
Yeah, we might need that.
Get some more horsepower out of it. So basically the car gets rolled up onto the rollers.
Yep. Bring the car in, obviously we've got to check all the fluid levels and everything, make sure we're not going to break anything on the dyno. We want to avoid that as much as possible. Bring it on the dyno, we give it a light run just to make sure everything's strapped down properly. We have a quick look at the air-fuel ratios and things like that, make sure it's not running too lean, going to do any damage. Then we do a couple of power runs and see what she pulls.
So what we got over here, mate, we've got the old computer. What's this for?
Basically, everything we do on the rollers comes up on the screen there,
Yep.
so we can see sort of what the car's doing at all the different revs and what sort of conditions it's under. Today we're just basically using it to get some bragging rights. We also look at it when we do fresh engines or modifications to engines. We can tune the engine to suit what we've done. It's also good for fault finding. If there's a car that's...
It's not all about the horsepower and the kilowatts. It's about tuning the car and getting it right.
We like the horsepower and the kilowatts, but that's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But it's good for somebody's car's playing up at 60k an hour with a caravan. We can simulate that.
What's the horsepower? What's the highest horsepower today?
Biggest so far...
Or kilowatts, sorry.
Yeah, we're talking old language now. Biggest power figure so far today was 397 kilowatts.
Holy moly, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a bit of an animal.
It is,
It's a GT Falcon.
So what would that be in horsepower for us old guys out there and girls?
Top of my head, I reckon be 450-ish.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Maybe a little bit more, close to 500
excellent.
maybe.
Well, it's a good little setup you got here as well, mate, and I think the guys have appreciated. Have you appreciated the dyno day, guys? Yeah! Oh, did you get that? They were really excited. Well, look, thanks for joining us tonight on My Garage Rules, mate, and thanks for putting on this for the boys and the girls.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's the dyno day. We'll see you right after this break. Thanks, guys. Well, I'm standing here in probably the ultimate man cave or garage. It's bigger than my garage, so maybe your garage rules, not mine, Serge. This is just fantastic. What can you tell us about what's going on in here?
Thank you, Brent. Well, it's been in the making for probably about 11 months, but we sort of thought we'd build something that gave credit to the sort of vehicles that we build and keep here. And I think it's done that, certainly, and it's also a pleasure to come here and work on.
Well, I think
Cars like that.
we just had our lunch on the floor. It's that
Well,
clean.
we might have to clean up afterwards. There's a few crumbs still laying on the floor that I can
that's
see.
unbelievable. I mean, it's massive. There's a big air conditioning system in here. There's the Hoyt. It'll actually feel like a real pleasure to come here.
Well, that's what I say. It's a bit of a man cave, and you don't mind coming to a place that's got this sort of setup because it's quite a nice place to be in and actually just work in.
You know what's missing? Is a coffee machine.
And we've got that in the kitchen.
No.
Yeah.
Have you really?
Espresso. only thing is that that Clooney won't be doing the coffee.
He won't be
for
doing
you.
the coffee.
It'll be
Oh my
myself and
God.
all the other guys.
Oh, this is gorgeous. And you know, we'll be going to have a look around as well. But wow, that's all I can say. Wow. This is fantastic. I'm in my element here today, I'm telling you. Now, tell us about the car we're standing next to here. Beautiful hot rod.
Well, this black car here is a 1934 three-window coupe, and I built it for my nephew Jason Bonetti.
Yep.
It took approximately 2 years to build, and it's featuring a full aluminium big block Chev, running a blown blower on it, BDS blower, and 2 carburetors. It's got full transmission, like for racing. It's got a trans brake, and it's got all the goodies in the back. Mark Williams rear end, 35 spline.
Yep.
So it's built to do the business, and it's.
And has it done the business? Has it been down the drag?
No, we haven't met as yet. Because financials, we don't want to damage things at the moment. But
Wow.
it will see the track eventually.
Yeah.
Most of our cars do, sooner or later.
Mate, and I've noticed a bit of a theme here. Black is a favourite colour.
Well, it's sort of, if you don't know what colour to paint your car, black's
Just
always
black's
a
the safe
good choice.
colour. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't go wrong, Bretton.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's have a look at this next one here. Now, this is my favourite now. The only reason it's my favourite, because I've known you for a few years now about this car. Now, I remember this back in the early 90s, and so when you used to be in a hot rod club,
That's correct.
and used to take it on the street. But this thing here, it's a 454, is that right?
Well, actually, it's been brought out now to 466.
Holy moly.
We had a bit of a demolition in the engine off the valve a few years back, and
Wow.
yeah, so we brought it out. But this car was built in 1988, first on the road, and
Still going around.
Yeah, it
Still
actually-
looks great. The paint job on it's fantastic.
thank you. Yeah, I can't say anything about that car. It's been really good
Yeah.
to me. And
You'll never get rid of it?
No reason to. No reason to get rid of that car. It's
Yeah.
quite good. I mean, it's streetable. The race, it's run 990.
I was about to say, what's the fastest time?
Yeah,
990?
it's run 990, 132 mile an hour. It's the quickest it's ever run.
God. That's unreal. Well, how about we move it on to the next one as well? Now, this is a 5-window, something after my own heart. I'm building one myself, so this is gorgeous.
Well, this belongs to Dave Bonetti, another nephew of mine.
No, yeah?
And we built this 12 years ago approximately.
Wow.
It's featuring a Bill Mitchell small block.
Yep.
And it runs 10.0 down the quarter.
Nothing like satin black, isn't it? Just love that satin black. Looks
Yeah, it
great.
is nice. It's easy
Yeah.
to maintain and
Absolutely.
not too much polishing involved there with that car.
Drives it everywhere?
Yeah, it can run on pump gas,
Yeah.
10.5 compression. We drove it over to the 32 75
Nationals,
anniversary
yeah.
at Castlemaine and
Yep.
drove it all the way there on pump gas, no problems.
That sounds like a really great road trip. Love to do one of those. Now, this thing here, oh, wow. The interior looks great on this too. The nice bright red interior.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
Yeah, Brent, this is another 34 three-window. Belongs to son-in-law of mine, and it was actually built by another rod about 15 years ago.
Yep.
And I've refurbished it, fitted a new engine in it. It's
Yep.
got a 383 stroker in it with a 671 on it.
Wow.
A BDS blower again.
Nothing like a supercharger, is there? They just look gorgeous in that, and it all ties in well with all the theme because it's still got black. But there's one I want to really have a look at, and this is one right down the end here. Let's have a look at that.
Sure.
So, wow, fantastic. This thing here. Now, this was, I believe, at the Extreme Auto Expo just recently too.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, and that was part of the Big Maguire's Elite show, was
That's
it? Or
right,
something?
yeah.
Wow, tell us about this. For starters, I love the wheels on the back. Look at the size of those things. They're awesome.
Well, this is probably the first 32 car that's ever had 24 by 15s put on it.
24 by 15.
And it's featuring a 405 Pirelli tyre, which is
Wow.
16 inches of tread and 31.25 inches tall. So
Jeez.
it's a fair bit of rubber on this car.
That's unbelievable. And the brake, you can see everything. You can see the brakes right down to inside the motor. It's just, what's the motor again?
This has got a shaft off, all aluminium
Wow.
engines. It makes over 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, so we should be able to pick that up ourselves, that motor being aluminium, not?
Not necessarily, because a lot of the parts are still steel, because aluminiums don't last that long.
Yeah, Yeah, no, absolutely.
but-
Look, the colour as well. What's the colour?
Well, it's actually it's a house of colour.
Yep.
It's a galaxy grey base with wild cherry pearl over the top of it.
Oh,
Urethane
wow.
candy over the top of it. So it's a fairly extreme paint job to do.
Well, as you can tell, I do love my candy, and that's a beautiful colour.
Thank you.
I mean, the whole range of these cars is unbelievable. The quality on it is fantastic, and hats off to you, mate. That's just fantastic. Well, it's just a magnificent place you got here, Serge. And the thing I like about it now, my wife's Italian and you're Italian, and the big thing about Italian families is the family side of things. And you've really supported your family here by building something like this. This is fantastic.
Well, I think it's been a dream come true because I've been able to involve my family, my nephews, cousins into the rodding scene, which is a healthy sport for young people to grow up in. And I think it's got a big future for the sport itself. So I'm quite happy to have my family around me. They're always there, good times and bad times, and we've been able to set up this nice workshop that makes it a pleasure to come here and have the experience with them.
It does. It looks fantastic in here, and it's so clean. It's gorgeous. And I think we should go check out the machine shop that you got in there as well, because I think you got some beautiful toys in there.
Why not?
Geez, note to self, Serge, don't put your finger in the vice. Thanks for helping me there. Mate, this is gorgeous in here. Look at this stuff. We've got a beautiful bench. Well, I've just discovered the vice, but we've got welding machines there. We've got the lathes there, drill presses, grinders. Oh my God, this is just perfect. Oh, there's even a press over there. Oh, I could sleep in here, really.
Well, Brent, it's quite a pleasure coming here because we can do all our in-house machining, and which makes life quite easy if you come across a problem during the day when you're putting a car together or fabricating something. You can just whiz in here and knock it up, and away you go. You keep going with it.
I think the best thing about it is that it's separate from where you've got the cars, stored and assembly as well. It's a lot better. It's away from everything, isn't it?
Well, that's the only way you can keep things clean because, as you know, dust does travel. And we've still got a curtain to go up here yet, up in that doorway. So once we've done that, it should be pretty right. I've
got to keep pinching myself because this is just a family thing. This is not a business. This is just for your family. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really just for the family, and everyone's chipping in. They all come in and clean. We've got one guy doing the floor, and everyone chips in to keep it clean. And it's got to be like that to keep it like this, I
sort of think that's why sometimes you join car clubs to do that sort of thing. But this is a family thing, and really, that's as I said, hats off to you. That's great. So, Serge, this behind me, another 32.5 window, after my own heart, got one myself, but I haven't got tyres like that on the back. My God, is this thing going to be a drag car or show car?
Oh, it's really going to be a streeter come drag car. Most of our cars we build, they've got a fair amount of performance in them, but they're built to handle the performance. They brake well and they accelerate and they got traction. That's hence why we've got the big
traction.
Tyres.
Look at the tyres on the back. That's got heaps of traction.
Well, with horsepower, you need traction. That's what makes the car safe. If you can keep the tyres stuck to the road, it's not a problem. You don't need to be a really good driver, just a sensible one.
Wow, it is an absolute awesome hot rod. And Juice Customs body?
That's correct, but it's had an extra inch out of the roof, so it's a 4-inch chop.
Yep. And tubbed.
And tubbed, severely tubbed.
Severely.
Yeah.
Look, tell us about the motor that's under there. It looks huge.
Well, the engine is one of Sonny's big cube engine, full aluminium. It's got a front drive distributor. It's got a belt drive camshaft. The thing makes awesome horsepower, and those guys really know what they're doing. It's got like 40.5 degree angle heads on it. They're designed by Sonny's for projects, so those guys in the States know what they're doing. They do a lot of work for Sonny's.
That's unbelievable. And look, the overall, the whole concept of this place and all your hot rods and just your friendly nature and attitude and everything to getting the young fellas up through the ranks to get them into hot rodding and stuff, it's just fantastic. And as I said before, we just really appreciate you letting us open this up and showing the viewers this magnificent collection you've got here today.
Well, thank you again, Brent, for letting me show off some of our cars we've got here, and it has been a pleasure. And like you said, with the family, I'm more than rapt to have them come up in the ranks and help them along the way.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for joining us on My Garage Rules tonight, mate.
Thank you again, Brent.
Thank you. Well, look, we're here with Des right now, and Des, you've got this absolutely gorgeous car in front of me. It's a 56 Chevy.
It is a 56 Chevy, yes.
My God, you've done so much to this car, man. It's just unbelievable. Tell us about the paint for a start. It's a bright orange, I can tell, but is there a special name or anything for it?
It's a blood orange with a gold metal flake pearl, which you can't really see it now, but in the sunlight there's definitely a gold metal flake pearl in there.
Just under the light here, it's just incredible. You probably can't see that on the camera, but wow, it just looks great. And mate, this has had a lot of work. I remember seeing some progress shots of this thing, and you've come so far with this car. So look, tell us about the show wheels you got here.
Okay, they're a Twisted Vista wheel.
A Twisted Vista, not a Twisted Sister. A Twisted Vista.
Twisted Vista.
Yep.
Show wheels. I bought those wheels from Melbourne.
Really nice. I
Yeah,
like them. They suit the car, man. It's just really good. And the chrome work and stainless work on it, did that have to get reworked?
That's the original stainless on the car.
No way.
There's been a lot of work gone into it, but that's the original stainless that was with the car when I won.
So the car was pretty good when you first got it?
The car was originally blue and white. That was sort of 15 years ago, and then we decided to change it to the orange. But it's all the original panels on there, and the original stainless, original bumpers. Yeah, it's all been redone.
Wow, and I'll tell you what, when you were driving this in, it had an unusual smell coming out the back. And I don't mean that you had a couple of burritos before you came in here today, but it had a sort of an LPG smell, is that right?
That is correct, and it's running a straight LPG gas, no petrol at all.
Nice to think of the environment, and you're still, sort of hot rodding with this thing, and you're still thinking of the environment. Well done.
I'm thinking of my back pocket when I get out and cruise it, and it doesn't cost me a lot of money. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now let's talk about the interior. This is gorgeous.
Yes, the interior is, I designed most of the interior myself. I got Aaron O'Hara to do the interior for me. It's full leather. I had a sort of a theme for the seats that we wanted to run with. Door trims and stuff, I let him sort of do that. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. It's been brilliant. A lot of comments.
It does. It really does. And you can smell the leather when you open the door. We were just saying with the cameraman before, Grant, that when you shut the doors, it shuts beautifully as well. It's like a brand new car. Well, it is, isn't it? Really.
Well, it is. Yeah, a lot of effort goes into those sort of things, getting the doors to shut nicely and close. New rubbers help and all that sort of stuff. So.
I just love the touch of the pearl steering wheel as well on the top there. That's great.
Yeah, that was a bit of an effort. I had a few goes at getting that to the right colour. Send it back a few times, but eventually we got there. And yeah, another thing that sets the car off is that steering wheel.
It does, and it's good. The dash and everything is just it's gorgeous. And I know I keep saying gorgeous a lot, but I don't know what else to say. It's a magnificent car, and really appreciate you showing us today. And and how long's the build taken to build?
It's sort of taken me about 5 or 6 years to get it to where it is now.
And the two-tone with the orange too just looks great too. I mean, it just breaks up the colour. But we're just saying when it came in, it just the light when it hit it, it's gorgeous. So nice to drive.
It is beautiful to drive. I love it. It's a classic car. You don't need to do any more to them really. They just stand out themselves.
And you've got kids?
We have 2 kids, yes. So it's very hard to keep that white interior clean.
Yeah. What are their names?
We've got Savannah, who's almost 4, and Cameron, who's 7.
And they must enjoy it.
Oh, they love it. I can't go anywhere without Cameron wanting to jump in the car with me. But my next one that I'm building is a convertible, which is not far away, and yeah, they're looking forward to that with no roof. Beautiful.
So 350 Chev with gas.
Yes.
Wow. And what's the trans?
It's turbo 400 with a Ford 9-inch, usual sort of stuff that we put in these sort of cars, but lovely.
And I think it's really trick. I mean, you've retained that where you fill up the fuel at the back. That's where the LPG is now.
Exactly how it came out the factory. Yes, just converted it for the LPG.
No, that's great. Well, look, thanks for joining us tonight on My Garage Rules. Really appreciate you showing us your car. It's just great.
That's right.
Fantastic.
Through my father back in the 50s, while he couldn't afford anything special himself, we used to go to the Ford dealerships and check out all the new models.
One little piece of wild heavenly bliss and never be like this.
The centrepiece would have to be the HO. Owning it for nearly 43 years now, and a lot of history to me, family history. Yeah, we travelled around Australia in the car. We pulled a 27-foot caravan right around Australia, worked in the Northern Territory, Western Australia, to actually pay for the car. But yeah, brings back a lot of family. My favourite memory would have to be the Thunderbird. Brenda and I flew to America in '91. We picked up the car at a swap meet, pretty cheap, brought it back 11 months, both of us hard working. got it to the state it is today, and yeah, a lot of good memories.
There was a starlit night, the moon was big and bright, just like I wanted it to be. Took her in my arms, sat her on my knee, said, baby, you don't want me now, I don't have to worry, I don't feel sorry, never knew what I missed.
My son, he's in the WRX club, and he invited me to bring up the Shelby to give it a run, and I run a few times up there and found out it was a big heavy car, and progressed to what I'm currently driving as the 06 Mustang. Passion comes from within. My wife helps my passion by being a very, very avid